It's Eric with Jazz Wealth Managers, where we don't just invest the dough, we like to educate you on your dough. If you're looking to retire in your 50s, this video is for you. The problem is right now, we've had a rough market out there. And yeah, we've had a short tick up, but the economy data is not showing that it's ultra positive right this second. So what if you're planning to retire 2023? Let's take a look, see exactly what we need to do. Let's go over to the handy dandy board. Let me break this down a little bit for you. I've got a couple things that I really want to show you and how we look at this with our clients here at Jazz. The first one is, yes, I know you're like, okay, well, I've heard this many a times, but the bucket strategy. But here's the catch here. How do you do it when you're retiring right this second and you're maybe in your 50s, you're not even 59 and a half yet? Well, something that you can think through is oftentimes there's the rule of 55. Well, with the rule of 55, what that means is you can pull from your 401k when you retire without any kind of penalty. That is nice. The problem with that is a lot of 401k companies make you pull from every single investment that you have. So you don't have a lot of opportunity to diversify. The issue there is if you need to be a little bit aggressive, maybe you don't want to go too conservative, especially we always talk about with the market falling, you don't want to go too conservative if you've already lost money. If you've already lost quite a bit of money, there's no sense in trying to now go conservative because it's going to take a lot longer to ever recover and make that money back. And so in this case, if you have the 401k and you can't diversify, what do you do? Well, to create the bucket strategy, what you could do is create an IRA, roll over part of the 401k. Let's just say that you have $1 million in your 401k and you don't need a significant amount to live on during the early retirement years. You could roll $800,000 into the IRA, knowing that, hey, this bucket is 5 years out because you're probably going to be 59 and a half or 60 in 5 years. So this bucket you can invest a bit more aggressively. But then what about the remaining $200,000? Well, the remaining $200,000 that's in your 401k here, that you could look to actually scale back a little bit since they're not going to always allow you to pick and choose which funds you're going to sell from. Now, if you're allowed to pick and choose which funds you sell from, maybe this isn't the exact strategy you go with, but it gets the wheels spinning to make you think about what you need to do if you're retiring when you're going into a rough or choppy market here. So think through that. That's the first one. The second one I want to talk about is really simple as well, and it's tough to say this, but delay gratification. The last thing you want to do is say, hey, I've worked my whole life and I'm retiring and I really want to just, sit here. That's not the case, and I'm not saying to do that exactly. The bucket strategy is going to help with this whole scenario for you, but you may want to delay some things. Maybe there's a big purchase that you want to make during retirement. Well, if the economy's looking really rough right this second and you say, hey, my money may go down quite a bit, maybe you don't go buy the RV right now. Maybe you just wait a little bit, or the boat, or the dream car, whatever the case is for you, just give it a little bit of time. And the third one that I really want to focus on is one that we specifically show when it comes to planning here. Now, when it comes to planning, we're looking at, retiring in your 50s. If you're retiring in your 50s, we're going to jump into Nest Egg and show you a bit of what that looks like. Let's say you're retiring at 55, just what I had mentioned there. Now, your expenses, you'll have to calculate what those are in the retirement years. This person right here, Louis Armstrong, is going to be retiring at age 55, and the missus is going to be retiring at 55 as well. They've got their retirement expenses built out. You've got your net worth set up. So you really calculate, okay, this person's, done very well for themselves. They've got 1.4 million almost in a net worth. Part of that's just their housing though, but the rest of that's the investments that they have. Create the buckets, just what I talked about. Looking here, you've got $500,000 in an old 401k that's rolled over. Then you have the actual 401k. Maybe you've got the 401k over here is $150,000. That's the money that may be a little more conservative while you're in this bad economy. You're letting it recover. That's where you're pulling from the early years because you don't have a penalty to do that. And then you've got the Mrs. Roth IRA. Oftentimes we like to see the Roth. Keep that long term, keep that aggressive, because that's one that will continue to grow tax-free long term. That's a great opportunity to have that big bucket later on in life that you can pull from, and you're not having to worry about RMDs, things like that in that account. And so really what it all comes down to is the stress test. So the stress test when it comes to retirement, you're saying, hey, perfect, I'm on track for retirement. an 86 probability of success when you're looking at a Monte Carlo scenario. This is that running 1,000 scenarios here. It's not bad at all. We actually say, hey, if you're over 70%, you're doing really well out there. Now, we like to see it a little higher than 70, but at the same time, if you're at the 70 range, we can definitely work with that. Now, the big thing, though, is the stress test. What happens if I retire and the markets fall 20%? Well, right here, this shows you if the markets fall 20%, you have 73.5% probability of success still in retirement. So that alone gives you a little peace of mind knowing, hey, if I walk out the door tomorrow, then I'm going to be okay. Now, what if you say that, hey, I think it's going to fall more than 20%? We can test that. But also the biggest thing is just figuring out what your plan is, because maybe your probability of success in general is already 70%, and there's a possibility that the market could fall 15% from where it is today. If that's the case, you might want to do the stress test to figure, do I need to walk out the door right this second, or maybe should I give it a little bit of time? That's the kind of stuff we look at with clients here at Jazz Wealth. If you haven't checked us out, you can go to jazzwealth.com. You can schedule a call, click Invest Now, get started with us, whatever you have there. But we're here for your questions. Thanks for watching. If you want to watch more FinTips videos, click here. Be sure to like and subscribe also.